Welcome to Commander Central episode 320, and today we're rolling for initiative and talking about some of the sweet cards from the Baldur's Gate EDH Precon decks. I'm Max.
And I'm Chris.
Chris, how you doing on this lovely Friday?
I'm doing fairly well, just sitting at home, listening to everything rattle on my walls, because the Blue Angels are flying over. It's like we're getting attacked by Russia or something dumb.
Let's not joke about that.
It's like my joke with the wife. Whenever they come buzzing over, I'm like, oh, here comes Russia. And she's like, yeah, that's not funny anymore. I'm like, shut up.
Yes, so if you hear some background noise, our town has an air show every year, and Chris's residence is very close to the event area, so we might hear some background noise. Any loud explosions, we'll power through, then Chris can deal with that after we're done.
Yeah. Actually, surprisingly, the last 45 minutes, it's been really quiet, so I don't know what's going on.
Maybe it's because you went out and asked if they could take a break. I appreciate that, Chris.
Yeah, I'm just curious if they might be taking a break before or whatever, because the air show actually starts tomorrow, which is Saturday. So it'll be Saturday and Sunday when they do it.
Nice. As everybody was warned last week, there's no Dana. He is currently at Command Fest Richmond after some travel excursion adventures that he had, which I'm sure he'll bring up in 2 weeks when he's back.
Super curious.
It's been a fun story to follow. For almost everybody that went to Richmond from anywhere west of Ohio, it seems like had issues traveling yesterday.
Interesting. I wonder what happened.
And I'm not sure if it was weather related or airlines just not having pilots to fly planes.
I don't know. Yesterday, so I was on my way to work and left my house, nice out. Got to the gas station, which is literally 3 blocks down the road, 4 blocks from my house.
Yep.
And then I swear a freaking tornado came. We're ripping through. Because garbage cans went flying by. I'm getting pelted in the face by sand. Got gas in my truck. Walked in, paid, walked out, and it was sunny and no wind anymore. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here?
Tasmanian devil made an appearance.
It was crazy. It was definitely an experience. I was like, this is not normal. I'm looking for the twister touching down and, Midwest dad mode, just standing out there, finger in my belly button, here she comes.
We needed it. Well, if you want to tell us about any of your wacky run-ins with a Looney Tune or any cool air shows happening in your area, how would you do that, Chris?
Well, you can reach us on a multitude of social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter at CMDR Central. You can search us up on Facebook, CMDR Central. You can find us on YouTube by searching CMDR Central, and you can also find us on cmdrcentral.com.
You can also head over to patreon.com/CMDR Central. Check out our reward tiers, such as joining our community to chat with us and play some virtual EDH. And this week we want to say hello and welcome to a new patron, Anders Grantstrom.
Nice name. I like it.
So thank you so much, Anders. We appreciate you supporting us, and we appreciate everybody who tunes in every week and hits that like button, listens to us, and just spreads the word about the show.
Yes, indeedy.
Chris, before we move on to the decks, I have to say something. I finally took old Gnawbones out for a spin last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. I played 2 games on the Guardian Project stream.
I hope they targeted you off the board.
No, because except for one point when I was a threat, and it was probably worthwhile. But the deck did its thing. I got to make a bunch of treasures. I had a bootlegger stash out at the same time a couple times, so it was a lot of fun. I need to make a few more tweaks to it before I leave, but I think my issue was I expected it to be faster than it is, and it's not. Not wrecky fast, but faster, but now it's more okay, turn 4 is when I can start doing things, and we're just gonna remember that moving forward.
Yeah, I was going to say that was my guess, was right around turn 4. Just judging from majority of green decks, unless you're playing the super fast tweaked ramp package, it's not going to be that fast of a deck.
So wait, did you just tell me I should put my Jeweled Lotus, my Mana Vault, and Mana Crypt in this deck?
I mean, you are playing, isn't Old Gnawbone a 7-mana commander? So, I mean, it is what it is.
It is. No big deal. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to keep playing it over at Command Fest Vegas. Okay, Chris, let's get into these Baldur's Gate Precon decks.
Trash cards.
Yeah, there weren't very many interesting ones, in my opinion, of the new printed cards, but I think I grabbed the most interesting ones, and maybe you have a couple others that I did not pick.
I have one for sure.
Okay, so let's start out with Folk Hero. This is a legendary background. It's 1 and a white And it says commander creatures you own have, whenever you cast a spell that shares a creature type with this creature, draw a card, and this ability only triggers once a turn.
Yes, indeed. So, I mean, so whatever your creature type shares, your point in the notes I noticed was like your big like battle cruiser deck, such as like angels and stuff like that. The one that really popped out at me is actually I think that the commander comes in the deck with it, but that is Barakos, Party Leader, and Barakos is a legendary creature orc. That's 2/4 for 4, 3 and a black. And it reads that Barakos Party Leader is also a cleric, rogue, warrior, and a wizard. So it has all of those creature types built into it. So that combined with the folk hero, where you start making party decks, then if you ever cast any of those, you're going to draw a card. So I mean, that's where
awesome.
that's where I saw it, was in like the party type decks. That's really going to matter. Your tribal decks, like you were talking about, I mean, that seems pretty powerful too, especially in mono white in general. So I mean, either way, I think it'll be a really good card.
Oh yeah, I definitely think this is the kind of thing White has been looking for a very long time. The fact that if you do play, if it is an angel tribal deck, most legendary angels don't have choose a background, but you are in White, you have plenty of ways to tutor for enchantments, so this shouldn't be that terrible to get on the battlefield pretty consistently.
Yeah, it's the same. I look at it as, any of your like was it Garrick's Uprising type cards, or the Vanquisher's Banner, I think is the other one, stuff like that, where whenever you cast the spell or whatever, you get to draw a card. So I mean, similar options, but you still have to find those cards as well.
Yeah, for sure. Next on the list is Deep Gnome Terramancer.
What?
This is a 1 and a white for a gnome wizard. It's a 2/2 and it has flash. And it says whenever one or more lands enter the battlefield under an opponent's control without being played, you may search your library for a plains card and put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library, but you only do this once per turn. I wish they would take away these clauses, these once per turn clauses on these white cards, because I could definitely see this being great if you're playing mono white or even like an Azorius deck and you're up against some landfall deck. I want to be able to do that more than once per turn. I want to do that for every cultivate and 3 visits and any ramp card. I just want to be able to keep getting those planes out of my deck.
Yeah. I mean, I don't foresee it being once per turn being bad. I mean, because you're keeping pace and all that, and a lot of times I don't ever see people casting more than one ramp spell in a turn. I mean, sometimes late game, yeah, you're sitting on 2 of them or something dumb, or you drew a bazillion cards, you're just trying to pitch cards out of your hand. But I mean, overall, most of the time it is once a turn, so you're getting the value just as much as they are, where they may be getting 2 lands, but you're getting 1. I gotta look this up, but I think that this works off of fetches too.
Yes, because you don't play the land off the fetch.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking up. Whoops, helps if I can spell, So, just so you all know, there is no Y in Bloodstained Mire. Apparently, Scryfall tells me that I'm wrong when I'm spelling it. Apparently, Scryfall just says there is no such thing as Bloodstained Mire. There it is. Okay, found it. So, pay 1 light, sacrifice it, and put it onto the battlefield. Yep, so you're not actually playing it. I wanted to see how the wording was off the fetching of it.
Well, then this card just got better, because outside of the 2-color fetches, we have stuff like Fabled Passage. Is that the one from Throne of Eldraine? And your Evolving Wilds and stuff like that.
Yes.
This gets way better now in my mind, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's got flash, so I mean, that's another cool thing. It's a 2/2 for 2. It is a wizard, so I mean, that fits into your party themed decks and whatever. I think just overall, this card is just, I think in white should be played.
Oh yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like a terrain generator-esque type card. Speaking of terrain generator, that is getting a reprint in one of the commander decks. So I mean, anything like that, I mean, in white is just, I don't know. I wish that, because I think these are commander exclusives in the decks too, so the only way to get them are from the deck, so it might be a little much of a pain to get them, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, and, I think we overlooked the most important thing is this gets any plane, so your dual lands count
true.
here.
True,
it's not, they removed the basic land clause for once.
Yes. I do like that as well.
Chris, you want to read the next one?
Sure. This card, I actually talked a lot about this card with actually a listener of ours in the store quite a bit. And I really like this card, and it's called Black Market Connections. It is 2 colorless and a black for an enchantment that reads, at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, choose 1 or more. So the first one is called Spell Contraband, and that is create a treasure token and you lose 1 life. The second one is Buy Information. You draw a card and you lose 2 life. And the third one is Hire a Mercenary, and you create a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter creature token with Changeling, and you lose 3 life. And then it says it has every creature type, which obviously, because it's a Changeling, just to make sure that everyone remembers that. So, this is how this works. You go untap, upkeep, draw, main phase 1. Trigger this awesome card. Well, let's ramp a treasure token out. Let's draw a card, and let's create a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter creature token and lose 6 life. All in your, first main phase, and you don't have to cast anything out of your hand then right there. I mean, I think that's phenomenal in black.
Yeah, this card is amazing. I'm pretty sure I had similar conversations with that same person, just not at the shop, about this card. This, in my opinion, is like Phyrexian Arena on steroids. It went to the gym. It figured out we need to get out of the the upkeep phase, and let's get into that main phase and do more stuff.
Yes. The biggest thing I like about this, while, you can draw and, make shapeshift or whatever, I think the making of a treasure token in mono black, the ramp portion of that is,
that's huge.
For 1 life, I mean, because that's all about blacks, their theme is, I want to pay my life to do something that'll help me get advantage over everyone else. So, I mean, that pays off. And then you got, what is the black 5-mana enchantment that I absolutely despise, and that's why I never remember it. But
Wound Reflection.
No. If you have like a bazillion treasures, you win the game.
Oh, Revel in Riches.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is just another card that plays with Revel in Riches. So, I mean, and then you have the Prosper decks, which are already playing treasures. I mean, this fits into so many decks, it's unreal.
Right. And we're getting so many of these black effects that make you lose life and you get rewarded for it, obviously, on, the Dana Roach style of play. Yeah, I think overall Black Market Connections is a great card, and I definitely will be picking up a couple copies just to have around, because I see this becoming something you just always slot into a deck.
Yeah, I agree. I am curious right now. I'm going to look this up quick. There you are. Click on it. So, off of Scryfall, they are pre-ordering this for like almost $21 right now. So, it's definitely going to be a valuable card, I think, overall. So if you can get your hands on it early, I would. I mean, I don't like being a MTG finance type of person, but there are certain cards that I see that I suggest people that they should try to find early rather than later, just due to, the simple fact of price plus quantity that's actually going to be out there. So this is definitely one of them that I would jump on.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, on to the next card, and that is going to be Venture Forth.
Yes.
This is 3 and a green. It's a sorcery, and you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a land card. You put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Then you exile Venture Forth with 3 time counters on it, or you can suspend the card for 3 and pay 1 and a green to do that.
Yep.
Okay, Chris, in my notes, I have, what do we think about this compared to Far Wanderings?
I see Search from Tomorrow. What are you talking about? Far Wanderings?
Yeah, Search for Tomorrow, because Far Wanderings...
what is Far Wanderings?
It's the one with Threshold.
Okay.
It's the card I originally thought was the other card we're going to talk about. Versus Search for Tomorrow. It's what I thought Search for Tomorrow was.
Okay. So this card is just strictly better. I'm actually high on this card. I've had a lot of people coming into the store recently, asking for like help with their decks, like, oh, I need help building this, or I need help tweaking this, what do you suggest, and all that. And usually the first thing I suggest to them, because they're in green, is ramp, because they need to try to smooth out their land base, get the cards out and stuff like that. I like this card a lot due to the simple fact, if I'm not misunderstanding this card just sticks around forever. So every 3rd turn or 4th turn, you're going to cast it again to get another land. Now, while you're just flipping cards from the top of your deck until you hit a random land card, you don't get to choose. That's just phenomenal in my opinion. Always going to have a land drop. So unless I'm mistaken on that, but the way that it's worded, that's how I understand it, is after you cast it, it gets exiled into suspend. You cast off suspend, it gets exiled back into suspend, and it's just going to keep doing that on a loop. Because I don't see anything that's going to stop it unless someone counters it or something like that. So
Exactly, a counter spell or something like that will stop this, or being able to remove stuff from exile. There are a few creatures that do that, but
yeah, or a Teferi or something where you can't cast spells at instant speed, something like that.
Right. Yeah, I tend to agree. I've never been a huge fan of Search for Tomorrow, just because it's only gets you a basic, and Magical Christmas Land is it has to be in your opening hand versus something like a Cultivator, Kadama's Reach, where at 3 mana you're getting 2, 1 onto the battlefield, 1 to your hand, where Search is 1 onto the battlefield. It's untapped, which is nice, but the fact that Venture Forth gets you any land that you hit is awesome. And it just repeats itself and repeats itself. So yeah, I definitely like this. I can't wait to try it out in a bunch of my decks. And you could go that extra mile and start playing some top deck manipulation to make sure you get the land you need. Let's make sure I get my Nykthos because it's going to come onto the battlefield untapped, and I'm going to tap it for a bunch of mana.
Yeah, the thing I like about this too, and I bring this up a lot, is you are in a 100-card format, and this is going to help you filter through cards faster. Because it's a guaranteed filtered through X amount of cards. I mean, unless you're playing like 40 lands, you should filter through at least 3 cards before you hit a land in most occasions. So, I mean, yes, they go to the bottom and whatever, but you get to get farther into your deck. Whereas, tutors you shuffle, like that's an argument, while you're shuffling and all that, but that's a complete randomization. So you could shuffle, those cards into the middle of your deck or back up towards the top of your deck for all you know. And whereas these are guaranteed to go to the bottom, so then you know that the cards that are coming up are fresh new cards.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm looking forward to playing this.
Yeah, this is definitely high on my list. Like, this was one of them that was on mine that I wanted to talk about. And once I saw it on yours, I'm like, cool, yeah, we can discuss this all day. So it's going to be one that I'm going to suggest to a lot of people. Finding it's probably going to be an issue because I notice for our shop, getting that Commander exclusive cards are actually hard because people never trade in the cards out of the Commander decks, and we don't personally crack any of the Commander decks. So that becomes an issue, but, there is always ordering it online because I guarantee you can find it off of, TCG Player or something like that. But your local shops might not have these.
Yeah, very good point. Okay, Chris, what card do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about a Beholder that's in red. I can't believe you didn't choose a red card. I mean, like, come on now. I know some of them that they're kind of trashy, but this one's, like, awesome. I love it.
I saved them for you, okay?
This card is called Death Kiss. It is 5 and a red for a Beholder creature. The artwork on this card is pretty sweet. I love it. It's a 5/5. So this card reads, whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks one of your opponents, double its power until end of turn. So that's any creature, whenever a creature attacks. So it's like I attack you with this 3/3 and this 3/3 and this 3/3, and my Death Kiss triggers and makes them all 6/6s. Well, doubles their
power.
Your
opponents get smashed. Yep.
Now, Death Kiss also has a Monstrosity ability. So it's Monstrosity X. So it's a double X and a red to activate this Monstrosity. Now, for those of you that don't know, whenever you monstrous a creature, if it isn't monstrous already, you put X +1/+1 counters on it, and it becomes monstrous. So that's how the ability works like that. Now, once you monstrous this creature, the ability triggers, and it reads, when Death Kiss becomes monstrous, go up to X target creatures your opponents control. So I monstrous, 12. Let's say I put 24 mana into this or something, which you probably never will in red, but it is what it is. So you go to 12 creatures. So they all have to attack your opponents. Cool beans. Hey, guess what? Now they all get double the power. Oh, this is so awesome. I love it so much.
Dang. I didn't see this card. I didn't look hard enough. But this would go great in Ishin since it would double the trigger as long as I'm not getting attacked.
Yeah. I do. I just like this ability. Well, granted, it is 6 mana for it. I mean, that is a lot when you're looking at it as a 5/5, for 6 or whatever, So, like, its ability doesn't really actually do anything that's per se helping you during the game, I guess you could say, because, like, whatever you're doing, it all depends on what your opponents want to do. But, any of them attacking, like if they attack with like a 1/1 or something, you turn it into a 2/2. I mean, just that little bit of incremental amount, I think, is totally beneficial to anyone.
Yeah. So my next green creature is Telinkali Hunter. You're the D&D guy. I probably didn't say that correctly at
Oh,
all.
you're talking about the Scorpion, homie?
Yeah.
Yep.
5 green for a Scorpion Scout. It's a 7/7. It has an adventure, though. It's a sorcery speed adventure set called Retrieve Prey for 1 and a green. And this allows you to exile target creature card from your graveyard until end of turn. Until the end of your next turn, you may cast that card.
Yes.
That's super cool. What's even cooler is if you cast the creature portion of this card, it has Trample. It's a 7/7, and once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost of the creature spell you cast from exile. That's nice. That's very cohesive right there. I'm gonna exile something from my graveyard. This goes on the adventure. Next turn, play the hunter, and then bring that thing back.
Yep, for 0. Yeah, that's really valuable. Like, I looked at this card too, and just the Retrieve Prey ability, I mean, even if you're not ever casting, or if you never get a chance to cast the creature itself, that actual, the adventure portion, I think is amazing, because it goes until your next turn. So, I mean, you just exile, Itali or something dumb, in red-green, and then it's like, oh, now I'm going to cast him next turn, and blah, 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 and I'm going to nuke everyone out, and as you guys can all tell, I'm not a fan of Itali, but that's just what it is.
I wonder if they did it this way so you didn't, because they could have just made this a super busted green creature for 9 mana and just said, when it enters the battlefield, do the Retrieve Prey part, and then the next block of text would be once each turn, pay 0, and it has Trample. So I like that they kind of split it up, making you do 2 different things.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely going to go into those decks where, especially in red, I think the red-green decks, this will play phenomenal because red has the ability to exile cards in order to, cast them whatever this turn or next turn or whatever, So being able to cast it for 0 is really good, so... Too bad it's only a creature card, so I mean, that you are limited, but red-green's going to play a lot of creatures anyway, so it is what it is.
Here, let me just say, I just want to get my Apex Predator back. Then I'll cascade 4 times.
Forgot about that card.
It's so much fun. Okay, Chris, I think to wrap up this episode, let's talk about the 4 face cards of these decks.
Sure thing. We have a Squid Homie. We have a
Squid Homie? What?
Yeah.
Oh, the pirate.
Yeah, we got a Squid Homie. I'm like trying to like generalize these guys and see if people know who I'm talking about. So we got the Squid Homie. We got the what are we gonna call this guy? He's the pack leader. He's got his puppy dogs with him. We got this giant overgrown lizard, and we got this. I think this is Elspeth's Prodigy is who this gal is over here.
I was just gonna say someone cosplaying as Elspeth.
That's what it reminds me of. It looks just like Elspeth, honestly. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we have Captain Nagahathrod. He's Klingon, apparently. And he is a 3/6 for 5, 3 colorless, blue and a black for a horror pirate. It kind of looks like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's where I went instantly with these random descriptions, and you went Squid Guy. I'm like, Davy Jones needed a side job.
So we got the legendary horror pirate, and it reads, horrors you control have menace. So right there, we're getting like a horror commander. That's pretty cool. Also reads, whenever a horror you control deals combat damage to a player, that player mills that many cards. Interesting. Another mill type of general. At the beginning of your end step, choose target artifact or creature card in an opponent's graveyard that was put there from their library this turn. Put it onto the battlefield under your control. That's actually really good. Like, I don't even care about the menace part for horrors, because granted, he's got menace now. That just automatically says that he has menace. But, the ability to just mill for combat damage and then put a creature onto play, that's pretty good.
And there are 195 horror creature cards. 181 are legal in Commander.
Okay, that's actually a lot. Wow.
That's a ton.
Now, are we talking completely legal? Like, because I've done the search for, like, Commander cards, and I get, like, uncards, too, and I'm like, well, this is not legal. What are you guys doing to me?
Yes, I believe so.
Interesting. I bet you a lot of them are really bad ones that are like 3-drops that are like a 2/2 horror or something with like flying or something.
I would say they're really bad in the sense that they're a 6-drop 2/2 with flying.
Wow. And here I'm like, oh, battle cruisers. Yeah, 6-drops. No, that's not a battle cruiser.
I mean, like, Abysmal Horror is a 6-drop 2/2 with flying, and when it ETBs, target player discards 2 cards from their hand. That's from 7th edition, you know.
That doesn't feel very good.
But stuff like Chasm Skulker is a horror, and Consuming Aberration.
Yep.
So there's a lot of newer cards that are just good in general that would fit this deck really well.
Yeah, there's actually a horror that is getting printed in that deck that actually is going to be one of my new generals. I'm changing my mill deck up from it, and that's the new Zelix Sanity Flare, which is a 2/3 for 3 with ability Hive Mind. Whenever a player mills 1 or more cards, you create a 1/1 black horror creature token, and that has an activate ability of 1 and tap it. Target player mills 3 cards, and it has background, so I get to choose any color to pair with it, and I'm just like, yeah, get some. I think I'm going to do green, and I'm going to give it the background so I can make all my commander creatures be 10/10 giants.
Oh no.
Just because I can.
Oh no. That is scary.
Like I have a 10/10 giant horror creature.
Yeah, no, I like Captain Garthrod here. It'll be interesting to see how many of those show up in the local area.
Yeah, I think it's definitely probably I don't want to say the best, but out of all of them that have come out recently, for Dimir, that is a mill type of general, I think it is probably one of the top tier ones.
Right. So next, the pack leader is Faldorn Dread Wolf Herald. It's 1 red and a green for a legendary human druid, which is a 3/3. And it reads, whenever you cast a spell from exile or a land enters the battlefield under your control from exile, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token, and you can also pay 1 generic mana and tap it to discard a card. You exile the top card of your library, and you may play it this turn.
So here comes your Scorpion homie right into this deck.
Pretty much, and essentially running every red impulse draw effect that's in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good. I mean, the land portion is what really got me on this, you know. Whenever you play a land from exile, I mean, that is huge. Just to make a 2/2. Plus, you get to cast that, so you could cast a spell, because, like, I think, what is it? Light Up the Stage is 2 cards. The other one that was just recently, which is 2 mana, is 2 cards. So, I mean, if you hit a land and a spell, you're getting 2 2/2 wolves, right? Because it doesn't say once per turn. So, I mean, that's really good.
What is the Eldrazi that mills someone and you can get all their lands?
Oblivion Sower.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yep.
Oh.
That would be good in this deck.
Oh. It's actually a really good deck. I mean, I think this might be the most powerful of the 3 or the 4 commanders. 3 mana for a 3/3 that just has almost like a card draw effect built into him, like a card advantage effect. I mean, that's pretty powerful. Plus, you're creating tokens out of. Yep, this is a kill on sight card. Now, in my opinion, if I see anyone playing this, I will kill it on sight.
Wow, that's aggressive, and I can't wait to see that happen in real life. And I'm going to hold you to it.
I will, too.
The next time I'm in the shop and if someone's playing this against you, I'm like, Chris, you said on air, the internet heard it. You have to kill them first.
Well, it depends on if you're playing or not. Then that's just how that works.
We'll just put you in a pod with 3 other players that are all playing Faldorn and be like, what are you going to do?
I guess I'm going to play my tribal board wipe deck then.
Mogus. Just play Mogus.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Now we got, our massive overgrown lizard, which is Furkrag. Furkrag? Not sure. Double A's are always, a little confusing for me. But this guy is a Cunning Instigator for 3 and blue and a red. So we got a nice little Izzet commander going on here for a 3/3 Flying Haste guy. So whenever 1 or more dragons you control attack an opponent, go target creature that player controls. That's not bad, blue-red dragons, I guess you could do. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, if that creature had to attack this combat, you put a +1/+1 counter on Furkrag, Cunning Instigator, and you draw a card. So kind of a Niv Mizzet-esque effect. But building it more off of goading creatures. Because Niv Mizzet is whenever an instant or sorcery is cast, correct? You draw a card or something like that. But this is more of a whenever they have to attack, then you get to +1/+1 counter and draw a card. That's actually pretty good. I don't mind that at all.
So Niv Mizzet number 1. I don't know.
Oh, that's right. There's like 5 of them. I forgot about that.
Number 1 is Niv Mizzet the Fire Mind. That was 2 double blue, double red. Whenever you draw a card, it deals 1 damage to any target, and you can tap to draw a card.
Okay.
Niv Mizzet Draco Genius. This is the one from Return to Ravnica. 2 double red, double blue. When it deals damage to a player, you may draw a card, and then you pay red and a blue to deal 1 damage to any target. Then there is Niv Mizzet Perun, which is the triple red, triple blue one.
Yep.
Can't be countered, flying. Whenever you draw a card, it deals 1 damage to any target. And when you cast an instant or sorcery, you draw a card. And then the final form is Niv Mizzet Reborn, which is the 5-color one that cares about multicolored cards.
Yeah, we don't care about Niv Mizzet Reborn. We just care about the red-blue one. Yeah, I think it's the one that
Unless it's a Planeswalkers deck that you and I tuned.
Stupid Planeswalkers. God, they're... Speaking of Planeswalkers, there's, I think, 3 of these decks, or maybe it's 2 of these decks, has Planeswalkers within them, too. So,
yes.
Which is pretty cool that they're, printing Planeswalkers again within the Commander deck, so... But I was thinking of Niv Mizzet Perun, where it is, wherever you cast and then you draw. So this is kind of like drawing, but instead of dealing damage, you're putting the +1/+1 counter on it. So very similar effect of an Is It Dragon type of feel.
Yeah, I definitely think could be cool to do just this as your commander. You could do something like the one that turns all your creatures into 4/4 dragons. I think it's called. It's not Dragonstorm, but it was a card from one of the Ravnica sets.
I know which one you're talking about. It's blue, right?
It's a red-blue. I think it's a gold card.
Okay.
But you're going to see this in the 99 of your 5-color dragon decks, I think.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, the thing I like about it is that, like, you don't have to play it for its first ability as, like a dragon, whatever dragons you attack or whatever. Now, while this thing does have haste, so you can attack right away with it, so you're going to get that first initial trigger, I like it as, like, a goad type deck, because for those of you who have actually looked through the spoilers of, like, everything, there are a lot of goad mechanics within this set. So it allows you to actually go through, and actually build a nice goad deck. Because they're actually, I do believe it's in this deck, they're reprinting Disrupt Decorum too. So you're going to have that, goad all creatures target player controls type of thing. So that's pretty cool.
Is it in the deck or is it in the set proper?
It's in the deck, because I was looking at the deck lists.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's actually really cool. So you're going to be able to, do stupid stuff with it. Because I know Disrupt Decorum was kind of an annoying card to find for a while there, so...
Yeah, because that came in the...
Commander... looks like it got reprinted in one of the Commander sets.
Yeah, but I feel like it was... Was it in the Markov deck?
I think that's where it originally came from.
That and
Commander
Teferi's
17
Protection.
and...
Yeah. Or was it in the Saskia deck? Goad all creatures you don't control, and that's the one about
Could be.
combat? Let us know, listeners. Let us know.
Sweetness.
Okay, our final face card is the Elspeth cosplayer Nalia de Arnis. It is a legendary creature human rogue for 1 white and black. It's a 3/3, and it reads, you may look at the top card of your library at any time.
Woo!
Yeah. You may cast cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard spells from the top of your library. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain Death Touch until end of turn.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That is nice. I mean, I like, the counter. The Death Touch is kind of, whatever. I kind of wish it was like Lifelink or something, but that's just me being greedy. But I mean... Playing a party, I mean, I know party mechanic was kind of hard to set up, but now it seems like it's becoming easier and easier, so definitely a nice way to go. I don't like that it's only 2 colors, like you're kind of stuck like that. I wish that you could get like 3 colors, because you want other, colors within it for better cards for your party. But, hey, I would just, once you have a commander that gives you whatever you want for the party, you might as well just go for it.
Yeah, so apparently there are like 800... probably more than 800 party members in Orzhov.
Yeah, that's a lot.
902.
That is a lot.
Yeah, that is. But at least we have options, because I was thinking we probably weren't going to have a lot of wizards.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, but no, that does make sense, because wizards are probably more in your black more than anything over like, whereas white will be more of your warriors and clerics type of thing, and then rogues are in black too. So I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you're not going to have like the really powerful wizards that you probably do in like your blue and your red color, but you'll probably still get a few good ones. There'd be more like necromancer type of things.
Right. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I wish the keyword given wasn't Death Touch, to be honest. I wish it was something like First Strike or Lifelink. Or Vigilance even. Like, Vigilance would be great.
Yeah, Vigilance would be perfect, honestly, I think, in my opinion. Because then that allows, you get some free attacks type of things, so.
Yeah. But I do think it's cool now that we kind of know the number of how many party members are in Orzhov. I think it's doable, and it'll be kind of cool to see. It's definitely going to be a low to the ground type of deck, and it's going to probably move really fast.
Probably. Yeah. Combine it with, like, your Folk Hero card, and every time you cast, anything that combines with her, like whenever you cast a rogue, you get to draw a card. I really wish that she had more creature types like the other guy that I was talking about. They had like all the creature types on them, because that would be cool.
Doesn't she have she's just, no, that's all 4 party members.
She's just a rogue though.
Oh, you want her to be like Baracus is.
Yeah.
He just is every creature type.
Yeah.
And I guess we should mention that since we're talking about Baracus again, when calculating your party, he only counts for one of the classes.
True. Yeah. But for cards like Folk Hero or something where it actually matters,
right?
Where, all of them are, then it could be one or the other.
Right, yeah. Someone asked in Slack earlier this week about how does party work again. We're like, yep, he doesn't, when calculating your full party, he only counts for one of the 4 things.
Yeah.
But any tribal things, he's all of them.
Yeah, which is cool. Because, yeah, when you do the party, you can't have, like, double clerics. You have to have, like, one or another, so.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Well, Chris, those are the pre-con decks for Baldur's Gate. Are you excited about them? Are you going to be trying to grab them from the shop just to have them to put on the shelf, or are you going to pass on these?
I'm going to try and get these ones. I should go get the new Capenna ones, too, just because I've been slacking on getting the commander decks, but there's been so many of them lately that it's been hard to keep up. But this one, I know that I think there's one of them that I want, because I want quite a few of the blue cards, surprisingly. I don't like blue a whole lot, but quite a few of the blue cards in here I actually like, so I think I'm going to try and get the blue deck itself.
Nice, very nice. I am not sure if I'm going to pick these up yet. I do want a bunch of the cards out of here, but it'll just kind of depend on which are easier to find, the decks or the cards themselves.
Yeah, I might just end up, depending on how much we sell in our store. I've been trying to convince our store owner that instead of sitting on back stock of these decks, we should start cracking them for some of the singles in there, because we can make our money back on them. Because people are always looking for like certain singles out of them. So maybe I can convince them to crack a couple of these. We'll see.
There you go.
So what are you going to go and do the draft this weekend at all?
Probably not. I have to pack because I leave for my vacation on Sunday night. So
okay.
I got to pack and probably should try to clean the apartment a little. Who knows?
Yeah. I know all you guys out there listening, gals, everybody out there who's listening, I would like to hear how it goes, because I won't be able to actually attend. I have so much going on this weekend as well. I have a big fishing trip planned tomorrow, and then I have a great big gathering on Sunday, so I won't be able to make any of these releases or anything. So I'm curious how it goes for everyone, how they thought it played out, because you could always set it up and have it, out of a box and just do it with some friends and stuff too. So that might be something I might look into.
Yeah, that's kind of how I prefer to draft, is just with a good group of friends, because it is more like casual and you don't get as many tryhards that just want to go 3-0.
Oh, I want to try hard.
And I can drink beer when I draft with friends at someone's house.
Yeah, that's true too. I understand that. I mean, we could do it at the store after hours, maybe.
True.
I mean,
or I'll get one of those cool slipovers for the beer can that looks like a Dr. Pepper can or something.
Oh, that would be amusing. I thought about bringing in, I have like a glass of like the beer bottle, like can coolers or whatever. I thought about bringing one of those into the store to put around one of my bottles, like the tall bottles, just to see if anyone says anything to me.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. My big, like Mick Light can cooler or something, and just be like, what's up?
Get a custom one made that just says, this isn't a beer. Well, that is wrapping up episode 320 of Commander Central. Thank you for tuning in. Our show is edited by Rafael Garcia. You can find them on Twitter at Ursa Bearwalker. Our theme song is Retro Future Dirty, produced by Kevin MacLeod, licensed via Creative Commons. You can find Dana on Twitter at Dana Roach. You can find myself at CMDRCentral_Max. And you can find Chris at YSquishy1. Dana and I will be back next week with a deck tech, and then all three of us should be back in 2 weeks from today. Until then, I'm Max.
And I'm Chris.